Welcome to our titration lab. I'm going to run through the equipment, the materials we have here, so you know what we're working with. This will have to be done in a single shot, so if it's a little bit herky-jerky, I apologize. So here we have a burette mostly loaded with a 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid solution. We have an unknown sodium hydroxide solution. We don't know the concentration. We have an indicator, which changes color as pH gets a bit acid. We have a graduated cylinder, Erlenmeyer flask, regular beaker, and a funnel. So I'm going to load the burette here up to its 0 point. I'm going to use the funnel and the acid to top it up. Here you should be able to see our burette. You can see it's 0 point. I'm going to get a little closer. I got to get it up to that. The funnel and the giant beaker may be a silly way to do it. Transfer pipette might be better. But I'll try with this and we'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, so I've gone quite a bit beyond. So, however, I have this is why I have a little beaker down below. I can allow a little tiny bit to come out at a time and lower my fluid level until I'm right at the 0. I think that's perfect. I think that's decent, really pretty good. So the next step, having achieved that 0, is to obtain 10 milliliters of our unknown base. And for that, I'm going to use our graduated cylinder. And here, I'm going to move this to one side. And so here's our sodium hydroxide. That's our base. And I'll pour a little bit in, and we'll get it to 10. Just a little bit short. This is where the transfer pipette would come in handy. But I'll just put in a little more, and any excess I'll just decant. So I'm definitely a few tenths of a milliliter beyond. Get rid of a tiny bit. Now I'm below. This is why the pipette is so nice. Maybe a drop. Still a little low. Good. Oh, that's probably definitely too much. Hang on, I'm getting the transfer pipette. With the lab, I actually did provide these, so they are a wonderful thing. When you're measuring these volumes, you always want to measure off the meniscus, which is the bottommost bit of the way the water curves down inside a container. All right, so if you see that, it's hard for me to hold it still and get a good angle for you. If I move this little rubbery thing, you can see that it's kind of right. So I'm up at about exactly 10. So adjust our point of view. Boop. Here you can see the stopcock at the bottom of our burette. I'm going to take the sodium hydroxide that I just measured. I'm going to put it in a Erlenmeyer flask. a little bit of a huge Erlenmeyer flask. Kind of like to have a smaller one, I think. I think you can try to make sure you can see everything. All right, and the next step is 3 drops of our indicator. It's going to make a very light blue color with any luck. If it's yellow, it means I added acid accidentally, which some people did do during the lab. All right, so you can see I've got a lovely little blue color. Give it a swirl. You know, I don't think that's strong enough, dark enough blue for the video, so I'll give it another 3. All right, that's a little better. You can see where that's at. All right. So, in this lab, we are titrating with the acid until the blue color goes yellow. And at that point, we are assuming that we've achieved neutrality. If you're very technical and you guess what my indicator is, you'll know it's not quite true. But anyway, watch my technique. Basically, I'm going to just twist this through, get a little bit in. Maybe if I did it from the side, you'd see better. Just give it a twist through so I get a little bit. That way I get just the tiniest bit each time. And hopefully I find the exact point where it starts to turn yellow. There. Probably went a little more than I should have. Maybe just a little more. But that'll be fine. That'll be fine for this lab. So now the question is, how much of the acid did I use up turning my solution yellow? And let's go take a look. We go back and we look at the top of the burette and we see where that meniscus, the bottom part of the water goes. I need to get a little higher so you get a good view. All right, so now you can see it. It's a little wiggly. Let's see if I can turn it so you get the best. So you can see the 0. You see the 1. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good view. I think I need to turn it just a bit more so you can see where the major and the minor gradations are. Now when I look at this, I read it as actually a little less than 1 milliliter. I see 1 gradation less, 2 gradations less, actually a little less than 2. So what do I got? I've got 5, 6, 7, 8 point 8.1. So I would say 8.1. Well, really, it's 0.81 milliliters. So yeah, that's the measurement I read off of that. I'm going with 0.81 milliliters. And again, you read off the very bottom of that downward dip, which is called the meniscus of the acid. So that's the entirety of the experiment. It's a quick little experiment. Probably I should have used a much more dilute acid if I were to redo this lab, so that you'd have a larger quantity of acid to titrate with, and it would give you a more accurate read because you're, just basically the math involved. So yeah, your number for your volume is, I'm saying 0.81. Good luck.